Okay, this is our decision aid. And this is my 19-year-old client, Lisa. And she's wanting to know about making a decision for a home, hospital birth, or a birth center. So, Lisa, have you decided on what place you'd like to have your baby at?
Well, I'm concerned because I have state insurance, so
Okay.
I don't know. I kind of would like, I think, to have a midwife, but I don't think my state insurance. I don't know, would it cover that? My boyfriend wants to be there, but and I want him to be there, but I in the hospital. I know they're being kind of funny about who can be there and who's not, so I just don't know what to choose.
Okay, so when it comes to insurance, for a home birth midwife, typically they can't bill your state insurance. But there are some that can, so I'll give you a list of those midwives who can possibly take your state insurance. As for birth centers, that can vary too. So that's something that you might want to call around about. There aren't very many options here in Skagit County, but you could call and see who will take your insurance and what your out-of-pocket costs will be for that. Then with the hospital, typically everything will be covered. They'll take your state insurance no matter what, which you probably already know that. But and then when you were talking about your boyfriend, is he on board with you choosing different options besides a hospital birth?
He doesn't like hospitals, so he didn't want
Okay.
me to have the baby in the hospital.
Okay. So, I mean, in that case, as long as you are healthy and you don't have any underlying health conditions, you could be a candidate for home birth or a birth center. And birth centers have a little more restrictions on who can be with you when you have your baby, but typically they allow for two people to be with you. So there would be no problem having him be there with you. And then for home birth, obviously, you're in your own space. You can have whoever you like with you. So when it comes to making this decision on the place, how far along are you again?
I'm already 5 months and 20 weeks.
Okay.
But I'm concerned too how safe it would be for me to have like a home birth
Okay.
first, like rather than being in the hospital.
Okay. Well, in the hospital, you have all of the specialists there, in case there's an emergent situation, in case something happens with your baby and they need to go to the NICU right away, or in case you are in need of, specialized attention. That's always good to have in the hospital. But for most people who aren't having a high-risk pregnancy, which you're not, you're young and healthy, home birth and birth center births are just as safe as hospital births. And so there's definitely qualifications for that. And when you talk to different midwives at a birth center or home birth midwives, they'll go through a list of things and all of your past and things that'll put you at risk. And so they'll go through these things, and it's nothing against who you are as a person or anything that you practice, but they have to make sure that you're going to be very safe in the place where you're going to be birthing your baby. So there will be a lot of questions that they'll ask to rule that out in advance. But in general, as long as you're healthy and your baby's healthy and growing fine inside your belly, there's no reason why a hospital birth would be safer. Only in case of an emergency is a hospital safer.
So they would transfer me to a hospital if I had a problem?
Yeah, if anything went wrong with your birth at home or in a birth center, your midwives are going to be on top of your situation and looking at everything that could further go wrong or things that don't look right now. and then you can be transferred to a hospital. Typically, birth centers are located very near a hospital, so those are easier access, and that might be another thing that comes into question when you're thinking about a home birth too, is the location of your home in respects to getting to the hospital. How long would it take? How long would it take for EMS to get out to your house? Or how long would it take for you in a non-emergency transfer to get to the hospital in your own vehicle? So those are questions that your midwives will go over with you as well.
Okay, thank you. I didn't know any of that, so thank you.